10 cheapest cities in the UK. Regardless of how prohibitive the cost of living might be, there are cities where you can live on little because the cost of living there isn't so high. In this video, we want to show you the 10 cheapest cities in the UK. In these cities, people are living much better because of the difference in the cost of living. We will rely on the data from Budget Direct that takes into consideration basic costs, such as rent, utility, and transport, and then compares their totals with the average salary. The cities mentioned in this video are ranked based on the amount an average worker is left with. Please enjoy this video and please don't hesitate to offer your comments. Number 10. Manchester. Let's start with the famous city of Manchester. This city is celebrated for finding a place among the top 10 cheapest cities during the cost of living crisis. Those working in Manchester can earn about £2,324.11 per month on average. To rent a one-bedroom apartment, you'll need about £913.36. And in that room, utility bills may add up to an average of £162.36. To get around by public transport, a transport pass of an average of £71.74 per month is needed. Thus, you'll end up spending £1,150.40 per month. And if you take that away from the average monthly income of £2,324.11 mentioned earlier, you'll still be left with as much as £1,173.71 to watch your favourite club performances at Old Trafford or Etihad Stadium, if that's a priority for you. Number 9. Edinburgh. The capital city of Scotland, Edinburgh, finds a place on this list. If you are working in Edinburgh, you are expecting to earn an average of £2,312.50 per month. That's another huge sum in this economy. Meanwhile, an average worker in Edinburgh spends £1,076.42 on rent, transport, and utilities. To rent a one-bedroom apartment in this city, you will need £869.58 on average. Utility bills in this city, on average, sum up to £146.84, while the transport pass costs just £60 a month. This means those living and working in this city will be left with an average of £1,236.08 to take care of groceries, health, clothing, and other necessities. This is indeed a cheap city. Number 8. Birmingham. We are back in England to look at some facts about Birmingham, the home of Brummies, to determine if it truly deserves a space on the list of cheapest cities to live in England. In this city, nicknamed the City of 1,000 Trades, employees earn £2,285.83 on average. To rent a one-bedroom in the city in the metropolitan county of West Midlands, you need just £709.46. Your average monthly utility bill will add up to about £159.41. To move around in the second largest city in the UK, as you rub shoulders with its over 1 million population, transport passes take as little as £65. An average Brummie is invariably left with £1,351.96 after the total expenses of £933.87 on average have been taken care of. Number 7. Southampton. Now, let's go to a port city in Hampshire, England, and that is the city of Southampton. This cheap city is located approximately 130 kilometres southwest of London, 32 kilometres west of Portsmouth, and the same distance southeast of Salisbury. In Southampton, employees earn on average £2,350 a month. That is huge, considering the proportion of that sum that is spent on housing, accommodation, and transport. An average of £729 is spent monthly on a bedroom rent in the inner part of Southampton. and in that home, utility bills will consume an average of £137.16, while about £55 will be spent on transport passes. After deducting these expenses, totalling £921.16 from your income, you are left with £1,428.84 if you are working in Southampton. Number 6. Derby. Derby in Derbyshire, England, is our next port of call. This city and unitary authority area on the River Derwent, with its 2021 population of 261,400, is also one of the cheapest cities in the UK. In this city, the average monthly income is £2,225. From this salary, £500 on average will be spent monthly on rent for a one-bedroom home in the inner city. Besides, utilities will take an average of £209.95 from the income. Though huge, transport passes take as little as £56 per month. Altogether, only about £765.95 will be spent by an average person in a month, and this leaves them with £1,459.05 to take care of necessary expenses, including feeding and clothing. Number 5. Coventry. Coventry is another city in the West Midlands to be mentioned on this list. With its population of 345,328 at the 2021 census, the city on the River Sherborne is where you can find a fat salary and spend a meagre portion of it. For example, an average Coventrian, as residents are called, earns £2,225 in a month and spends just £765.95 of it. A room in the inner city costs just £500 per month on average. The average spending on utilities is £209.95, while transport passes in this city cost about £56. So an average resident of this city has about £1,459.05 to care for other necessary expenses. Number 4. Bristol. Let's go to the southwest of England to find the most populous city there and see if it could also be among the most affordable in the UK. Yes, we found the city of Bristol, a ceremonial county and also a unitary authority located on the River Avon. If you become a Bristolian, as someone from Bristol is called, you stand a chance of earning a salary of £2,874.21, out of which you'll likely spend £998.33 to rent a bedroom in the inner city. Your utility bills are likely to add up to around £174.53 monthly, while you will be spending an average of £73.91 every month on the transport pass. All these amount to £1,246.77, leaving you with £1,627.44 on average each month to care for other things. Number 3. Reading. Well, we want to squeeze Reading, a town and borough in Berkshire, England, into this list of the cheapest cities in the UK due to its population and especially the fatness of the salary in the town. Imagine an average worker in Reading earning about £310.76 a month. What would he spend that on? Little wonder why each Readingesian, a person from Reading is described, is left with as much as £1,781.53 to care for other expenses like food, health and entertainment. For example, a one-bedroom accommodation in the inner city of Reading costs £996.51 on average. Also, £172.72 on average will be spent on utility bills, while the transportation pass will gulp you only £60. The total of these living expenses which is £1,229.23, is even less than the gross saving. Number 2. Glasgow. We go back to Scotland to find the second on the list of the most affordable cities in the UK, which is none other than Glasgow, the largest city in Scotland and the UK's fourth most populous city, with a 2020 population of 1,861,315. In Glasgow, the average salary is £2,805.67, higher than the pay in 9 of the 10 most expensive cities. Only £776.92 of this amount on average will be spent on accommodation in a one-bedroom. Your utility bills will average £141.90 in the home, while as little as £65 will go to the transport pass. So the total expenses for this city will average £983.82. Now, if this amount is taken away from the average salary, it will remain £1,821.85 to care for other necessities. Number 1. Oxford. We're finally back in England, precisely to Oxford, the home repository of knowledge. Interestingly, the average salary in this city is surprisingly the highest in the country, higher than the average salary in the most expensive cities in the UK, including London. In Oxford, you can earn about £3,566.67 a month. Your expenses for accommodation, utilities and transport in this city are cheaper than what you will spend in London. In Oxford, the monthly rent for a one-bedroom in the inner city is £1,300 on average. The monthly average of your expenses on utilities is £143.51. As for the transport pass average of the whole month, you can spend as little as £60. So your average cost of living for the whole month is £1,503.51. Deduct that from the average salary and imagine what you are still left with. A whole £2,063.16 to care for other needs. That is more than the whole salary for some of the most expensive cities in the UK. Did you notice that salaries are generally higher and living costs are lower in these cities? Please tell us if there's any other things that you noticed about these cities. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the